James left a note on the kitchen counter. I'm taking Amanda with me, no property division. Don't contact me. His handwriting was rushed, but I understood every word. My husband of 12 years was leaving me for his 23-year-old gym trainer, thinking he could just walk away from everything we built together. My name is Diana. I'm 35, and I never expected to start my day reading a goodbye note from my husband. But here I was, holding the end of my marriage in my hands. What James didn't know was that I saw this coming. The late nights at the gym, the new clothes, the locked phone. He wasn't as sneaky as he thought. Even more telling, his sudden interest in our properties. He started asking questions about deeds and ownership, things he never cared about before. I took a sip of my coffee, remembering my recent call with our family lawyer, Marcus. Diana, if you think he's planning something, we need to act now. Marcus had been a trusted friend for years. I told him James believed everything was in his name, unaware that I kept records of every financial contribution I made before and during our marriage. James never liked dealing with paperwork. He loved bragging about our real estate, but I was the one who handled all the legal details. At the start of our marriage, he happily left that boring stuff to me while he focused on the big picture. That worked in my favor. My phone buzzed. A message from James. Amanda and I need the house this weekend to get my things. Be gone. I actually laughed. He really thought he was in control. I walked to my home office and opened the safe behind a family photo. Inside was a thick folder filled with documents I'd been collecting since the day I noticed Amanda getting too close to James at a barbecue. The truth? The house we lived in. Bought with my inheritance, solely in my name. The rental properties he loved to show off? 3 out of 4 were purchased with my own savings. Every dollar, every deed, every contract was documented. James used to roll his eyes at my habit of keeping records, but my father always said, always have proof of what's yours. Last month, I worked with Marcus to update all the paperwork, making sure everything was legally protected under my name. James had been too distracted with Amanda to notice the documents he signed without reading. Another message from James. Don't bother with a lawyer. Everything is in my name anyway. I smiled. He had no idea. I opened my laptop and checked the security feed for one of our rental properties. Sure enough, there was James walking inside with Amanda. He probably thought they had a fresh start in his building. Just then, the front door opened. Diana? Marcus had arrived right on time. He finally did it, he asked. I handed him the note. Just like you predicted, he thinks he owns everything. Marcus shook his head, flipping through the documents. He really has no clue you've been ahead of him this whole time, does he? I smirked. James never paid attention to details. Marcus nodded. All your properties are secure. He can try to fight it, but he won't win. My phone rang. James's name flashing angrily on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. He's going to be furious, Marcus warned. Let him be, I said, shutting my laptop. He wanted to leave without splitting anything. I just made sure he got exactly what he asked for. Text after text started pouring in from James. What the hell is this? These papers are fake. You can't do this to me. Answer your phone. I turned off my phone and looked at Marcus. What's next? He pulled out a timeline of our legal filings. His lawyer will call soon. Given the evidence we have, they'll probably push for a quick settlement. I nodded, feeling a mix of relief and satisfaction. This wasn't how I wanted my marriage to end, but I refused to walk away with nothing. Marcus flipped to another page. One more thing, remember that rental property James thinks is his. The one he and Amanda just walked into? I have the security company ready to change the locks. Just say the word. I thought about James and Amanda, sitting inside what they believed was their new home. I smiled. Do it. Marcus made the call. As I sat back in my chair, I felt calmer than I had in months. James had underestimated me for the last time. He thought he could take everything from me. He was about to learn the hard way. He never really had anything to begin with. The next morning, I woke up to 47 missed calls and over 60 messages from James. Each one was more desperate than the last. The final text caught my eye. This is ridiculous. I'm coming over now to sort this out. I calmly made my coffee, already knowing how this would go. Sure enough, minutes later, his car screeched into the driveway. The front door banged open. He still had his key, but that would change today. Diana? James shouted. What the hell is this? These papers can't be real. He stormed into the kitchen, his face red with anger, waving the legal documents. Amanda stood in the doorway, looking far less confident than she had before. I leaned against the counter, sipping my coffee. Good morning, James. Finally read the paperwork I handle. This is insane, he sputtered. You're saying the house is yours? The rental properties too. I built this portfolio. I set my mug down. Did you? Which part exactly? The house my inheritance paid for. The rentals I bought with my engineering salary while you were off networking. His face turned even redder. I made all the decisions. I chose the properties. I raised an eyebrow, pointing at buildings and saying I want that one isn't the same as owning them. You'd know that if you ever read what you signed. Amanda stepped forward. James says half of everything is his. We're going to fight this. I actually laughed. Are you? With what evidence? James, show Amanda the property deeds, the financial records. Oh wait, you can't, because you never kept any. James's confidence was fading. The court will call this marital property. You can't just claim everything. I pulled out a folder. Actually, I can. Here's the proof. Every transaction, every contribution. I even highlighted your part. It's a very short section. James's hands shook as he flipped through the pages. Amanda looked over his shoulder, her expression changing as she realized the truth. By the way, I added, you'll need to move your things out of the rental property by tomorrow. The locks have been changed. Amanda's eyes widened. You can't kick us out. James said that property was his. I shrugged. James says a lot of things. The property deeds say otherwise. Feel free to check with the county records office. James dropped into a chair, the fight draining from him. This isn't fair, he muttered. My calm cracked just a little. Was it fair when you threw away our marriage? When you planned to leave me with nothing? Amanda shifted awkwardly. I should wait in the car. Yes, I said, you should. After she left, James looked at me and for the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. What do you want? I want you to understand what you've lost, I said. While you were planning to leave me with nothing, I was making sure you got exactly what you deserved. I'll fight this, he said weakly. Go ahead, I shrugged. Marcus already prepared for that. He has records of your gym dates with Amanda. The money you spent on her from our joint account. We can bring all of that to court. James swallowed hard. You planned this all along. No, James, I protected myself when I realized you were planning to betray me. There's a difference. His phone buzzed. Probably Amanda. He stared at it before asking, what about my clothes, my stuff? You can collect your personal things tomorrow between 9 and 11 a.m. Marcus will be here to supervise. After that, the locks will be changed. Marcus, he scoffed. Should have known you'd run to him. Yes, you should have. And you should also know that if you try to take anything that isn't yours, it'll be considered theft. There are cameras now. James stood up, shoulders slumped. I never thought you'd be so calculating. And I never thought you'd try to take everything from me, I replied. Life is full of surprises. At the door, he paused. I did love you once, you know. I know, I said. But love without respect isn't enough. You might want to remember that with Amanda. As he left, I let out a long breath. Through the window, I saw him arguing with Amanda in the car. I felt nothing for either of them. My phone buzzed. A message from Marcus. How did it go? Exactly as expected, I replied. Shocked, then angry, then defeated. Just like you said. Good. From now on, let me handle everything. I looked around the kitchen, remembering all the good times James and I had shared here. But I refused to let his betrayal define my future. Tomorrow, I would start fresh, knowing that I had outsmarted the man who thought he could leave me with nothing. 6 months after James left that note on my kitchen counter, I sat in Marcus's office, looking at the final divorce papers. The numbers told a clear story, one James hadn't planned for. He's agreed to everything, Marcus said, sliding the papers across his desk. The properties are yours, and he's dropping any claims to joint assets. I signed, feeling lighter with each stroke of the pen. How's he handling it? Marcus smirked. Let's just say his new life with Amanda isn't as glamorous as he hoped. They're renting a tiny apartment across town. Turns out, personal training doesn't pay much. I expected to feel satisfied, but all I felt was peace. And the last rental property, the one he thought was his, Marcus checked his files. New tenants move in next week. The rent will go straight to your account. As I left Marcus's office, my phone buzzed. James had sent a message. I hope you're happy. You took everything. I started to reply but then deleted it. He still didn't get it. I hadn't taken everything. I just kept what was rightfully mine. His own choices had cost him everything else. At home, I walked through the house. It felt different now. I had redecorated, swapping out the dark furniture James loved for bright, modern pieces. His sports memorabilia was gone, replaced with local artwork I had collected. My phone rang. Lisa. Mom told me. Is it really over? Just signed the papers, I said. How do you feel? I thought for a moment before answering, like I can finally breathe again. Lisa laughed. You know, when you started documenting everything before James left, I thought you were being paranoid. But you saw it coming, didn't you? I saw the signs, I admitted. He suddenly cared about property deeds and bank statements. He thought he was being smart, but really he was just giving himself away. And Amanda? I chuckled. Last I heard, she's realizing that dating a man who abandoned his wife might not be the best decision. That evening, I poured a glass of wine and stepped onto the patio. The garden was blooming, a change I had made after James left. He liked a perfect lawn, but I had planted wildflowers and herbs instead. An email came in from the property management company. The rentals were doing well, and I didn't even have to worry about them. I had hired a team to handle it. A car door slammed next door. James and Amanda were visiting a friend across the street. They looked tired. No designer clothes, no expensive car. James glanced at my house, our old house, and saw me standing there. Our eyes met. I lifted my wine glass slightly, not to mock him, just to acknowledge the moment. He looked away and hurried inside. Later, as I got ready for bed, I found an old photo of us, back when we were happy. I put it in a box labeled past and shut the lid. A final text from Marcus appeared. Congrats. This isn't just an ending, it's a new beginning. He was right. James had tried to leave me with nothing, but instead, I had gained something even better, proof that I was stronger than he ever realized. The next morning, I woke up early, made coffee, and sat in my garden watching the sunrise. My divorce was final. My properties were secure. My future was mine to create. James had underestimated me. He thought I was weak. Instead, I had been 10 steps ahead the whole time. As I stood among the wildflowers, I smiled. The best response to betrayal isn't anger or revenge. It's proving them wrong and living better than they ever imagined.